On October 10th, 2001, exactly a month after 9/11, I departed New York City for Marine Corps boot camp. Got a chance to stand on those wonderful yellow footprints, and I embarked on a journey that, not realizing then, would change my life. That's me at 18 years old, young Marcelo Medrano. And during my time in the Marine Corps, I had an opportunity to do a lot of great things. I deployed 3 times, twice to Iraq, once to Afghanistan. I was promoted well ahead of my peers. I was a helicopter mechanic, so I got to work on that awesome aircraft there, which is Super Cobra. Got to fly around in them in Afghanistan and Iraq, around the States. Got to see a lot of really cool things. I served 13 years in the Marine Corps, and I got out in 2014. And when I did, I was lucky enough to land a job earning a 6-figure income. And for a poor kid from the Bronx with no college degree, I was feeling on top of the world, right? I felt I was Marine, I'm invincible, I'm earning a really substantial income. And then when I had my first kid, I started analyzing and looking back at some of the accomplishments that I've made in my life and trying to determine what kind of life and legacy I wanted to leave for my kids. And one of the things I realized was I was actually barely a mediocre Marine. And you may ask yourself, Marcelo, how can mediocre and Marine be in the same sentence, right? And I'll tell you, it's because I wasn't living intentionally. I wasn't deciding what I was thinking, what I was doing, what I was saying. I was getting up every day, putting on a uniform, wearing the medals on my chest and telling people, that's right, I'm a Marine. But I was really just going through the motions. I'd get up, put a uniform on, do what was asked of me, what was expected, but never exceeded those expectations. We often find ourselves in that situation, right? You go after that girl, that guy, and you get them, right? You get married, and what you find is 5 years down the road, your relationship is kind of normal, right? And you're kind of getting up every day, yeah, love you, baby, gotta go. And you're done. But you're not truly living up to what you could be. And so the funny thing about mediocrity is that it's not about somebody else's opinion about you. Instead, it's about what you know your potential to be and whether you're living up to that potential or not. Right? And so what I started to do was read a lot of books about personal growth, intentional living, financial literacy, the things that I hadn't learned growing up in New York City, things I didn't learn about in school. And I found a common theme. There were these gaps between where I was and where I wanted to be. The first one being the assumption gap, the idea that you will automatically grow. The only thing that automatically grows is my waistline when I eat pizza, right? The knowledge gap, the idea that you don't know how to grow. It's 2019, open up your phone, Google the topic of personal growth, and you'll find the answer. The timing gap, it's not the right time to do what I want to do and go after that. The mistake gap, the idea that if I make a mistake, people are going to think negatively about me. Trust me, anything that you think somebody might think about you, they already have. So don't let that hold you back. The perfection gap, the idea that you have to be perfect before you start. If you do that, you'll never go after your dreams. And the inspiration gap, feeling like, maybe I don't feel like it today, I'm not in the mood. And so the comparison gap as well. Others are better than me. Look, someone's always going to be better than you. Someone's always going to know more than you, and you can learn a lot from that. And also the expectation gap. I thought it would be easier than that. Everything great is uphill, right? It takes hard work. John Maxwell says, you will never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. And your daily routine begins with your thoughts. Everything that we create in life, we create twice. Once in our vision and once in reality. Right? So if our thoughts are negative, if we think less of ourselves, then you're not going to get what you want, right? Because your thoughts manifest themselves in the words that you use, in your behaviors, in your actions. So what you want to do is you want to believe, think positive thoughts. Talk to yourself in the mirror. It might seem corny, but trust me, it has changed the way that I live. I look at myself in the mirror every day and say, you're awesome. You can do it. You can make that happen for yourselves. And taking action once you've spoken those words is magic, right? Thoughts become actions, and then actions change the world. The last thought that I'll leave you with is the next time your GPS tells you to get off on the exit of mediocrity, ignore it and choose to take the path to your potential. Thank you.